Welcome to Mishna study, Masechet Sheviit, Perek Bet, Mishna Dalet. Over here, we're going to move on to saplings. So when we spoke about earlier, different things you're allowed to do for trees. Now we're going to speak about what's allowed to do for saplings. And the Mishnah opens up, Mizahamim et netiot. You're allowed to be mizahim. Mizhamim literally means from the language of zohama. Zohama is something nishech. It's disgusting. So what would they do? They would take some disgusting type of like almost like a sap or a base or something, and they would smear the tree with it. Why would they do this? Something has a really bad odor. It would prevent bugs from coming or insects from coming and pecking at the fruits or eating the trees, and would distance those insects or animals away. So you're allowed to do this, all the way, as we'll see, up until Rosh Hashanah. Kolchimotam literally means to wrap them. So Harambam explains over here that they would wrap the tree, they would wrap the branches, wrap them up so the branches would go up straight. They would grow straight up in a line, right? That's how Harambam explains Kolchimotam. Others explain differently. Others explain it to be, actually tying the original trunk, right, to a pole, like a lot of times you see, so the actual trunk grows up straight, right? So just a little different perush, but Harambam explains as we did. Kotmimotam. What does kotmimotam mean? So Harambam over here brings two perushim. Kotmim, he says one is to cut off the edges, right? Niktom is to cut off the edges if he needs to do so, right? Or he says another perush is to go ahead and put liten ha'afar al ha'ilanot shedarkam bekach, to go ahead and put efer, better, to go ahead and put ashes around the trees, right? Because they would do this sometimes. I would just point out over here, what's the difference? The way Harambam is understanding v'kotmimotam. It's interesting because the root of where he's understanding the actual verb changes. The first one he understands niktom is from the verb of cutting. Whereas the second perush, where he says he's putting ashes on it, is from the language of kitma in Aramaic. Aramaic kitma is efer, right? So kotmim literally means that you turn the noun of efer, of ashes, you turn that into a verb, and he's saying you're spreading ashes around the tree. And the next thing you're allowed to do, you're allowed to go ahead and build these little, let's say like a little canopy or a little, what they would call a, tziliya, with a little something to give it to give it shade. It would protect it from sun. It could protect it from too harsh of a rain, right? So they go ahead and build these little canopies, little batim on top of these saplings to protect them. Umashkinotam, and you're allowed to water them, right? You're putting water on top of the tree, on top of the literally on the top of the tree, and it'll drip down towards the roots, towards the base. And you're allowed to do this. You're allowed to do this all the way when? Ad Rosh Hashanah, up until Rosh Hashanah. Rabbi Elazar bar Sadok Omer, Rabbi Elazar Rabbi Tzadok, right? What does he say? Af mashkehu al hanof b'Sheviit, aval lo al ha'ikar. He says you're allowed to even go ahead and water these trees, right, on the nof. The nof is literally the top leaves, right? You're allowed to go ahead and pour the water on over there, right? Even on the Shemitah year, right? On, you're watering the foliage, right? The top of the tree. You're allowed to do so even on the Shemitah year. You're just not allowed to water the roots, right? That's Rabbi Elazar Rabbi Tzadok. And halacha though is not like him. Rather, you're allowed to do all these things that we mentioned, these 4 or 5 pe'ulot, these 5 actions. You're allowed to do them all the way up until Rosh Hashanah itself.